After the release of official top 10 of SONIC.EXE Fangames, I decided to make a bigger update and make it top 20 since we reached the 2026 and so far new EXE Fangames came and I haven't got time to review them. I'm sorry for that, and from now on I will be doing EXE reviews in the written documents. There I will do top 20 and I hope you enjoying the rating. Denied! Now, for the top 20 of the EXE games, I wanted to balance out the rating we had in these reviews compared to the Season 2, and starting from the Season 3, I wanted to make some changes since I retired from ARCHIEVED. So, I will explain the top 20 listing, and I hope some of my listings will be very controversial, and I advise you to understand that's my opinion, and you at least really need to take it. So that's not my problem. You need to understand and learn your own lesson. Now, let's get started. To begin off with the 2026 rating, I'm gonna turn attention at the top 20 brand recent project, Tails.Smile. So to make a little clarification, the creator that was in the game page isn't the real creator. There was another creator, so you know what I'm talking about. Tails.Smile is basically a SONIC.EXE swap-over of Tails, adding a new character, Sonic, Knuckles, and Amy, which removes Dr. Eggman completely from a game. Complete footage says that Tails non-stop smiles is like a serial killer. If you are trying to get my point, this game was pretty much mediocre on the release, as this game does deliver a lot of flaws, including the story with the gameplay. Of course, I know it's a scratch game, I'm very aware of that. I'm pretty much certain this Tails.Smile will not deliver with future rework or any future content that's about to come out, which is why I put a Tails.Smile on number 20 spot. Next up at the number 19, we have recently Tails.EXE Corruption Protocol by the creator of course, Sonic.HCR The Fatal Hack. After my last review on Continued Hack and Fatal Hack, both of Sonic.HCR and Sally.HCR, the creator has delivered more flaws in Tails.EXE Corruption Protocol. The following screenshot you see right here is one of the biggest complaint I made in the Fatal Hack. Of course, the ground replacement on clicking, and the other problems which people complained when the first demo dropped and with the Amy's demo dropping. Still, the flaws remained the same and nothing was changed after it released. Story starts with Tails being on the chemical plant, as he does discover something unusual with a system appearing in the chemical plant. Either it has to be AI or something like, I don't know, because I'm not a creator. Tails gets possessed by that thing and appears to be after Sonic, Knuckles, Amy, Eggman, and Metal, if I remember correctly. Compared to what we have now in 2026, and projects end up being cancelled and uncancelled because of lack of motivation, which confuses people if the cancelled build will be released or the project will stay like that. I'm a commentator myself, as a reviewer myself. I can just confirm that Tails Protocol sucked. Same thing with Tails.Smile, but little wise as a man could say, this game isn't any better. As people are claiming several projects to be copy of the Emerald Curse, I have prepared a Google document and will be posting it on community posts. The project itself was designed to shut down Tails.EXE The Failed Experiment, which is the next number 18 spot. As for the Corruption Protocol, I have made my own verdict and I will say this again. If it does get released by a new demo or anything necessary of course, my rate and every conclusion I have said in this video will stay up. And for the number 18 spot, this one is a bit controversial. It won't be one game, but two instead. And that goes rightfully to Demonical Spirit of Tails.EXE Demonical Spirit and Tails.EXE The Failed Experiment. So I will start from one game, and that has to be Demonical Spirit. As this game is a full version and I don't want to do a full breakdown, I will do a short of what I know. And the full breakdown will be in a Google document as I clarified in my community post. People have thought that TurboTH Demonical Spirit was going to be a hyped up TurboTH project to be the first ever one, since they already had Knuckles.exe, the Emerald Curse. Demonical Spirit came after Emerald Curse, and people have appreciated Demonical Spirit so much they wanted it immediately released, they wanted it right now. Unfortunately, as the first demo dropped, things have got worse. Pay attention to whatever I have to spell out, so you better remember it on your head. Tails Boy Adventure Deluxe Edition, Tails Boy Adventure Genesis Sport, and Part 2 of Tails Boy Adventure Genesis Sport. As much as I have the evidence to prepare the story, let's get to it. TurboTH Demonical Spirit is... With the release of the Demonical Spirit being beyond mediocre, this game wasn't pretty much praised until YouTube shorts were made regarding the project, which would later on change the reputation of the game. People what saw in this game as the biggest downfall was the story and the difficulty. As this game is power crept by Dark Souls remake, people are starting to forget about this game, which would change the position after the Eggman demo. Given that the creator has gave Metal Sonic emotional feelings to talk like a human, likely with Adnix, that was the most disappointing view for the Eggman demo. And people were saying that the Eggman demo was pretty good, which I digress. This demo is neither good, neither bad. It's beyond worse. What has changed in Eggman demo was only bug fixes and Eggman route playable, which would increase the difficulty for the Mystic Cave, especially with Metal, Sonic, and Tails trying to distract the clones, making it harder to beat. But if you do use the level select correctly, then you will just bypass it quickly. Back in the EXE 2018, level select was hard to obtain. The only thing you could have done was to get the best ending, and if you get the best ending, you could have got the level select code, which you could have typed it and played the levels once again. Spirit of Hell, Night of the Beginning, the OG Night of the Beginning, and OG IO3, and Continued Nightmare. There was no bypassing the level select code, you could just have got the best ending, which at least took a risk, a worth of a risk to obtain it. Not just by typing a code and bypass the entire game. That's not how it went back in the 2018 of the EXE Fangame era. If you know the 2018 from the EXE community, if you were there of course, then you know that I'm also from there. Like as I speak, this game will be put it under the verdict of, alongside with the Emerald Curse, Knuckles.exe Emerald Curse 1. Demonical Spirit is mid, worst, and it's not really well written. So which is why I will move on to Failed Experiment. Now for TurboTH Failed Experiment, it was one of the hypest controversial releases. From a hype that hyped up with trailer, with level design, from a turnover of philosophy, it has changed the opinion on people when they have seen it. First off, from a plagiarism that was for the Emerald Curse being a straightaway copy of the Emerald Curse. That was one of the biggest issues I have seen most of fan games when they release. Back in the day, if you remember the Sonic the Hedgehog Infected Menace, when I used it to heavily criticize it, Infected Menace had writing issues. Same does Failed Experiment. Back in the day when Emerald Curse wasn't a thing, it was hard to write story with the Nightmare universe being fully popular. What made this game stand to flaws wasn't plagiarism of the Emerald Curse. Only thing that made this game stand to these issues was the release date. It's not me to complain about the release itself, but the problem is that when the game released, everyone was happy, and when they had seen the game, they had played it, they seen a lot of elements taken from the Emerald Curse, and they seemed unimpressed and they said, I don't want to play this game. It's a copy of this game. I don't want to count that much because I'm not someone who agrees with them, but I'm only a commentator and I'm giving my own opinion. I have seen a video about a guy complaining about the Emerald Curse Angry Waiter. He has said that failed experiment failed to impress, which is why from my review on this game, I have to call it the failed impression. And then number 17 I have Sonic.Polar, the Frostbite. What does make this game underrated is that story is Sonic was on an ice cap and he hit something that he wasn't supposed to, and then he gets possessed and obtains icicle powers, which he uses it on Tails, Knuckles, Eggman, and Metal Sonic. This is pretty much like from the Avatar, the Avatar series, if I recall correctly. You can tell me later in the comments. It has changed from Tails Angel Island all until to a brand new level when the demo came. And that's what made Sonic.Polar be forgotten just after it released. There was nothing that it power crept, nothing that it replaced it. Basically, it was one of the forgotten releases in 2025. It also has to go at the number 16, SONIC.EXE the 8th Emerald, a potential titled game. Compared to all these games that I have broken down so far in the top 20 list, this one does introduce the 8th Emerald, call it the Crimson Emerald, which makes this game stand for the story's creation. The story is beautiful, but the zone is being a lot overused, so I would just say that Sonic does fight Metal Sonic. He loses control, like he malfunctions until as Eggman makes his escape. He finds the Chaos Emerald that is Crimson, and as Sonic looked it up, he went possessed and became I'm sorry. Tails, Knuckles, and of course Eggman, who was a witness, have to rescue Sonic from that emerald. As the Chaos Emeralds introduce their own elements, like from the Avatar, once again from Avatar, I love Avatar. The idea of the 8th Emerald is to craft Chaos Emeralds to do something like with element powers. Like, it's for granted for sure, I don't know how to pronounce it, but like Chaos Emeralds are literally something that can be useful for good or evil depending on whose hands end up. With the story, of course, that can stand out with Knuckles demo that was released, and the only issue that bugs me out is a lot of fan games are better than the 8th Emerald, and I expected better for the game. So that's why it has to belong on number 60. To give my first honorable mentions, it has to go to TurboTH the Metallic Massacre. This game does provide one of the oldest things that happened back in the 2018-2019 era when Eggman died for the first time. People started to say that Eggman dying for the first time was in the EXE game. Do I have to tell you that Eggman dying by a creator isn't from the Metallic Massacre? Is it from it? No, it's from Heroes Less Than. And unfortunately, SceneWonderX has made a mistake when recording the Metallic Massacre, which I have explained it in a community post. Like, this is going to be my genuinely public statement to you, SceneWonderX, and anyone who is supporting it. Remember that. SceneWonderX has made a mistake in the TurboTH review. It wasn't from there, it was from Heroes Less Than, a first ever game to introduce 6-in-1 fan game, like 6 characters in one game. If you don't know Heroes Less Than, then go back on YouTube and type for that game. You will see how many years it took for the game to be cancelled, and you're gonna tell me I was right the whole time. So back to Metallic Massacre. This game was pretty decent. What made this game better was Metal having his own skin, but story wasn't really good because there was nothing that possessed Metal. It was just like out of control. It was like off-screen possession. That is off-screen possession. I will repeat. off-screen possession. Do I have to... Do I need to repeat it one more time? Okay, I don't have to. There, as much as I have made myself clear, I suppose that's enough of repeating ourselves and continuing with the talk. As Metal Sonic does get possessed, the first character who is going to be first is of course Sonic. And Sonic does fight against Metal Sonic in many ways, and I really didn't like the Metal Sonic constantly appearing like appear, disappear, appear, disappear, appear, disappear, appear, disappear, see the mode. That is so much overused, and this really needs to be changed with something else. Till this day, BTW will stay at the number 16 of honorable mentions, and I believe for the next demo, it's going to overshadow the rest of the projects and do better. At the number 15, we have SONIC.EXE Fangames, which would come along with Super Mario Crimson Memories and Dreamland 2004. The Fangames was best EXE fan game for 2035, which came alongside with SONIC.EXE 3.0 remake. And the only standout between two games was Tryphobia had extension to the story, while SONIC.EXE didn't. But it's what made the Tryphobia better. Later, few months of SONIC.EXE's update, people started to change their heads about Tryphobia and say SONIC.EXE has what Braf doesn't, and opposite vice versa, you know. I have played both, I've seen both games and have reviewed them, gave a rate, and I have to say SONIC.EXE and Tryphobia deserve equal treatment. So don't argue like SONIC.EXE is better, Tryphobia is better. Don't treat each project separately. Treat it equally. Here for the second horrible mention, I have SONIC.EXE The Demon's Rising. For The Demon's Rising, this game was very good by the design's philosophy, but the inspiration for Tails being taken from Power Star Mario animation, that's what made this game stand to position for the story's design, saying that has to go with the 8 Emblem. And issues would occur right after the announcement of new demo for Planet demo for Knuckles. Sonic and Tails usually get huge connection, and Sonic was his first target, which would be a big problem for me to say why targeting his best friend, why not go for the enemy first. For the game's philosophy itself, sorry about that. For the game's philosophy that stands out, it doesn't even go well, and it really does not fit. I mean, that's fine for a beginner when you want to write the story, make a gameplay for yourself. I mean, it's okay to have fun, but it's not okay to overdo things like that. Which is why I left Demon's Rising right to this point. Going to number 14, I have two games for this video. Of course, SONIC.EXE Phantom Corruption and SONIC.EXE Shadows of Darkness by the same creator of Sega CD Creepy Files. Now I want to go first with Shadows of Darkness. SONIC.EXE Shadows of Darkness is one step forward compared to Sega CD Creepy Files and the SONIC.EXE other game I reviewed, if I remember correctly. The game itself does develop Sonic going straight to Angel Island. Well, he has to meet up with Dr. Eggman, and after the fight with Mecha Sonic, Sonic does fall in the temple, where Sonic would be possessed by the ghost, which started to be the new thing for creating a script that's basically one step forward for improvement compared to Sega CD Creepy Files, which you did. And to be precise, this game is very promising, it is really good, but it still does have flaws with the appearances with basically backstory of a ghost that appeared from Pokemon Red, Blue, Green, whatever. It basically has that problem, and we still don't know, or it is probably left as a surprise. Development between EX Darkness and the rest of the characters is to basically get revenge and avenge his body in order to get stronger. I'm not sure if I am correct, but this is one scenario of SONIC.EXE The Conquest and the End, which the Conquest was revealed while the End wasn't. But Shadows of Darkness isn't that hard. You just have to strategize yourself and beat the game by yourself. In fact, that is just a demo, and we still haven't got store for Knuckles, which will mean a question for another time. Whenever this game with Metallic Massacre will power creep the rest of the projects and somehow make originality even better. Well, SONIC.EXE The Phantom Corruption. Originally, it was SONIC.EXE The Corruption. If you remember the review I did, it was basically just some changes and more characters playable. In the first review video, I have complained that Sonic sprites, when Knuckles was being chased, sprites were using the Sonic Free speed out. This demo consists full chapter 1, 2, 3, or chapter 4 if I remember correctly, but I don't know. Original Phantom Corruption contained only one chapter, Knuckles playable, with VIP Tails level, and that was what impressed me. But until when it came out, Phantom Corruption received big complaint for being the biggest plagiarism for SONIC.EXE Bloodstream and Bloody Tears. Criticism with difficulty, and there was a lot noticeable things that my team and I managed to find out in Phantom Corruption. Speaking of that, I have no issues with this game, but I have issues back in the Corruption review. Sprites were misplaced. As the creator does upload the teasers for his project, the biggest flaw was spoilers for the project. You shouldn't have spoiled much to ruin the hype for the game, and surprisingly enough, it didn't. That also needs to be mentioned for FA and DS. In other words, when they got revealed, the hype was bigger, while the Corruption / the Phantom Corruption, it only received a title change and basically had to revamp the engine. Straight away, Phantom Corruption is also another decent game alongside with Shadows of Darkness, but if you want more of a challenge, I'd rather recommend Phantom Corruption if you are really skilled enough. To come with a very big conclusion, Shadows of Darkness is one step forward, while Phantom Corruption is basically story overhaul, basically changing everything that was from Sonic Roads to modern Sonic Roads. That is everything what I have for those two games, so let's jump to the next spot. At the number 13, I have SONIC.EXE The Bad Time Collection. Originally, The Bad Time was worst on the release, despite people were hating it due to blatant plagiarism, and because of the blatant plagiarism the creator has received, he decided to do a full round 1 until the round 3, a fully freshed game that has biggest file size in for the first fan game. Of course, that demo, the full version of Bad Time Collection, round 1 has many endings, same with round 2 and round 3. So this game does have like 20 endings, and it is the first ever game to have biggest file size, and I honestly am impressed how long this game took to be developed. We'll get to the full rating and full breakdown of this game very soon. For now, the old time's sakes, at the number 12 I have the cancelled SONIC.EXE The Savers of Soul. Yes, the cancelled 8 years ago version, but even though it was released on 2018, you cannot deny back in the day Savers of Soul difficulty for Tails and Hydrosity was the most stunning thing to pull out, and I will call this game a very OG one for those who really don't know about it. If you think that Emerald Curse is better than all of the OG games and basically erase everything in your head, remind yourself a bit. Now to pull off my final verdict for Savers of Soul, as much as I am very OG of the EXE community, this game was really good on difficulty, but the gameplay wasn't really good enough to make it enough. And unfortunately, as it is cancelled, I understand it. You can still play the game through the game page, of course. It is cancelled and you're free to try it out anytime. At the number 11 I have SONIC.EXE the Red Cube Round 1, especially remake version. If you recall correctly, I have done a rating for this game, and this was one of the best scratch fan games to ever receive a remake, and now with the upcoming Round 2, I am very grateful to finally put Red Cube Round 1 on number 11 spot. Original Red Cube Round 1 used to be worst, but this remake does deliver a lot of unique mechanics, unique storyline, unique cutscenes, and good thing about this game is that solo, duels, endings don't have stages, as especially the solo endings have some sort of cutscene, and more you keep playing from the remake, more you will find out about the EXE Foxy, as I was told about in the comments section. Pretty much, if I correctly, I have seen the comments about, and I just know what to read, you know. So to finally have down my verdict about this game, with the Round 2 of Red Cube, as the original does exist, I want to point that remake version of Round 1 was the only topic I had in mind, and once the Round 2 is officially released, I will do a review if you guys really want that. And so far, that's pretty much all about Red Cube Round 1, and I am very much looking forward to the game's future, whatever it does. For next spot, I actually have the most difficult PTSD SONIC.EXE Continued the Nightmare, especially IO3 old version. For those who does not remember, IO3 the Continued Nightmare used to be very difficult because of Tails and Knuckles.exe boss fights, while you had to play over the game as Cream. The only thing you could have done as Cream to distract Tails and Knuckles, basically your objective is to charge up your energy and keep forcing them to hit each other, which will require a long time. That was real PTSD back in the day of the EXE community, and that shall not be remembered. And for the verdict of this game, as much as there is already the finished Nightmare, I recommend you guys to play it, because I will not be playing it. Continued Nightmare is something that must not be remembered. At number 8, I have SONIC.EXE The Story of a Demon. Just to be more precise, released at July 6th, 2020. This game is the primary example of how the plot looked like back in the day, and how exactly the gameplay looked like, and how most of people underrated this game. For those who don't know, Story of a Demon was a very old game, and later with the Conquest release, it would only change the design of the demon who we play it with, and the gameplay is just fine, but most of Russian people would be playing this game as there was no English guy who didn't touch this game for so long. Like, this game has been under the radar, and yet no one has been supporting this game, and only Russian people were playing except the rest of people. And this is why this game belongs at the number 9. Next up, number 7 is SONIC.EXE Breath of the Wild. Why is it on number 7? Well, it was a very OG game, but it took so long to be done, and to be honest, I was highly spectator of this game, and after many years it was released, around when I was around in the community, this project will be released with the decency of the story. This game is made by On Game Maker, and what makes this game interesting is the creator has actually been doing this game, and he also did Toy Story, if I recall correctly, and this game has something what other games like Emerald Curse, Failed Experiment, and other projects don't. So this is why this game has done really good, and I can't stop you saying that the Breath of Life can be treated like Friends ADC 3.0. Equally, if you want to play Breath of Life, I have nothing against for you to do that. That's your idea after all. But the example of Powercraft story would be Project Eclipse, and this was beyond the worst of Project Eclipse. As much as it is cancelled, I see the reason. And Breath of Life has what other games don't, and compared to older 7.7 games, I know the creator himself, and that's why this game stands to be very good on the Game Maker. At number 6, I have SONIC.EXE Doomsday, including Chapter 1 and Chapter 2 by Multi the Hedgehog. This game was underrated by a lot of people because of the story, but the boss fights were repetitive, and I will be standing to my position to defend Doomsday to remain on number 6, and so I will explain my position regarding this game, and it is expected from you to respect it. I did make a review on Doomsday about story and the gameplay being very much inspired on Shadow Dragon Saga from Dragon Ball GT, and as this game evolved to complete originality, I'm happy to see that Doomsday's Chapter 2's development is going really good. And the reason why people didn't like Doomsday was because how the sprites were placed with Mon-Gen and Sonic Freestyle. And so Chapter 2 has reverted back to Sonic 2 sprites, and I really don't want to spoil Chapter 2. So in my defense, Chapter 1 did pretty good, other than Emerald Curse itself. And so that's what I have nothing against Doomsday. While Doomsday is a really good game, I know the story was mediocre, but it still doesn't change the topic that the boss fights are creative compared to my game and the Friends ADC 3.0. So if they want to play solo, duos, or bad spinning, Achieve, and find out about Nexus, Doomsday is your game.
Like the phoenix, I have risen from the ashes, and into my fire you shall fall.
That is right, everyone. And the number 5 is the competitor SONIC.EXE Dark Souls Remake. This version of Dark Souls Remake has everything. It has Sonic-free story, it has Sonic-free sprites, it has Sonic-free music, like, this game is everything. But the issue was back in the day when OG Dark Souls was released, the engine was poorly executed. And with the remake out of the way, celebrating the anniversary with version 2, including more stuff, Dark Souls Remake managed to power creep Demonical Spirit that was mentioned on the top tier video, and that's why this game is better than anything in the top number 5. At number 4 we have Blue Cartridge and Sonic.EXE. So let me brush this video quick so I can understand. So Blue Cartridge was fantastic, Newgrounds game, and people liked it, while Sonic.EXE was basically a remake of Nowaware's Sonic.EXE, and remake was very difficult compared to the original one. So better game with the Blue Cartridge. At the quick number 4 I have Another Hell Remake. Let me be quick and say this out. Original Another Hell was fumbled by release, while remake version was pretty good, and people had issues with Knuckles boss fight and admin boss fight. So there was meant to be solo, duo, bad standings, like Spirit of Hell style, and it's sad to see this game on hold, and I was really looking for more. So with that being said, it stays to be on number 4. If you're still here, make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel and join my Discord server in the description. So let's get back. And number 3, I want to make a big discussion. Those who think that Sonic New Beginning is actually below number 3, 2, or 1 who are appearing in this video, well, you're proven wrong. When Sonic New Beginning dropped, like, people started to be happy because it was a collection of Chinlin, Blue Pen Tribe, and SONIC.EXE. And what has made this game interesting that many people did the job for this game, like with the beginning prologue when Sonic went cuckoo crazy, and month ago after the release, New Beginning was Power Craft. It started to be forgotten by another project. So to not waste any more time, here's the list of the projects that Power Craft in your beginning. And now we're approaching to number 2, Stone of Darkness. Pretty good release, but sad to see being cancelled, but it's good that it's been re-uploaded, so all of the re-uploads can be found in the game description. Finally, the number 1 EXE fan game that changed EXE community forever. So just to warn everyone here, it's not Emerald Curse, Knuckles the EXE Emerald Curse, it's not Sonic.EXE ROM, it's not Sonic one more time, one more round or one last round or anything beside that. So if you're gonna think of that, well, once again, you were a mistake. So the number 1 of this game has to be SONIC.EXE ? Or more commonly to be known as Tryphobia Sonic game. Yet the SONIC.EXE lost media, still good game. That pretty much warps up with top 20 of EXE fan games made by me fully and based with my opinion what I have. So that's the end of the video. If you didn't know any of this, let me know down in the comment section, and if you have any ideas for replacement where I have ranked up the games or anything like that, well, you can still do it in the comment section. See you next time.